Hi, Kieran.
Hi, sorry, I think I cut out for a second there.
No.
So yeah, thanks very much. So yeah, I'm going to talk today about specialization on Coursera that's hopefully going to come out throughout next year. So it's not live yet, but hopefully I'll whet your appetite so you'll look out for it as it comes live next year. And as you can see from my title, the specialization is going to be called Data Science in the Pharmaceutical Industry. So, for those of you who don't know, Coursera is an online learning platform. It's got thousands of different courses on quite a wide variety of topics. I just today took a screenshot. This is a kind of random selection of different courses, and I think it reflects pretty well the different kinds of things you can learn on Coursera. It's certainly not just about data science on there. So each course is made up of videos, readings, and for those courses where it makes sense, they have interactive labs where you can run and execute code. And typically they include some form of assessment, and that assessment includes things like multiple choice questions. It could be a lab where you have to complete some assignment, or depending on the topic, it could be an essay where you have to write some content to assess it. So a specialization is just a collection of those courses, so put together to build to one topic overall. And that's what we'll be building. So what is our Coursera specialization? You probably are aware that there's quite a lot of data science and machine learning training out there in the wild already. And certainly on Coursera, there's plenty of data science courses out there. But what a lot of those tend to focus on is kind of the core principles of how data science works and the methodology you use. And they don't focus as much on particular applications. So what we wanted to do with this course was look at data science specifically in the context of the pharmaceutical industry, in what's different about the pharmaceutical industry, and how does that change how we apply data science in that. The other reason I think this is a really valuable topic to pick up on is that I think there's a perception outside of the industry that there isn't much data science going on in the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, hopefully everyone in this conference knows that's not true, but I think there's definitely a perception from external viewers that maybe there isn't as much to do there. Like the clinical science gets more of a focus there. So that kind of leads me into our target audience, which will hopefully help you understand the kind of content we're going for in this course, in this specialization. So our main goal is to target data scientists who are early in their career. So that is graduates or people who've moved into data science recently, but so they have some knowledge, they have some understanding of the concepts of data science, of how to program a little bit, but they're perhaps not experts as well. And so tying back to my last point there, we don't want this course just to be for people already in the industry. We really want to reach out, because something I've been aware of when I go to conferences like USAR outside of the context of the pharma industry, there's so many great data scientists working in so many different fields. And I want to make sure that they look at pharma as an opportunity for them to work in, because I think, at least for some of them, they're not even considering it as a possibility right now. Of course, as well as those early career data scientists, there's plenty of people within the industry who are experienced programmers who maybe haven't been exposed to some of these ideas in data science, some of these using Git, using CI and CD. And we definitely want to appeal to them as well. So we haven't forgotten about them when we build this specialization. So the first thing I want to talk about in terms of the course, in terms of the specialization, is the first course. This is actually almost done. So it's the content is pretty much complete. It's just waiting for me to hit the publish button. So I hopefully will be ready out either by the end of this year or early next year, depending on how long those finishing touches take. So yeah, I will definitely promote it more then, but keep looking at Coursera, looking out for this course, which will be called Making Data Science Work for Clinical Reporting, and will be the first part of that specialization. So for this course, as I mentioned, our target audience already kind of knows data science. So it's not like we want to teach them basic programming or basic statistical ideas. Instead, we wanted to capture those kind of high level ideas that maybe you don't get much experience of when you initially learn about some data science concepts. So some of the things we're going to discuss in there is agile. Using agile methodology in clinical reporting is something we've been experimenting with in Roche, and we've had quite a lot of good results with it. And we want to look at how people can make use of that as well. Another piece will be using Git and version control in general. I find that not all data scientists are aware of Git version control and the power it can give towards making your analysis more solid. And also, from a clinical reporting point of view, we're going to argue that it actually helps towards building an audit trail, making it very clear what you did when. And the last piece we're going to focus on is improving our code quality in general. Certainly, that's something I've seen at Roche is that there's a tendency for programmers to solve a problem for a study or for a reporting event and then move on, and that code kind of gets lost. So our goal is to encourage a more software engineering mindset where people take that code, abstract it, and turn it into R packages. And we're going to look at how they can produce a high quality code and ensure that it's of sufficient quality that can be reused again and again. And the last thing I wanted to mention about this specialization in general is one thing we're really advocating for is the use of open source code, and not only using it, but also making sure that your code is made open source as much as possible. One thing that comes up when that happens is that you have to start thinking about assessing code quality. That is, let's say you found an R package in the wild. How do you determine its quality, whether you're going to use it in your analysis or not? And we're going to look at tools for that. And that's also going to relate to the talk we had yesterday from Doug Kelkoff and Colleen Zabalis. I will mention this. I am not the only one putting together this Coursera course. This first course has a whole bunch of contributors who you're going to hear from, and they're going to be presenting the content to you as well as myself. So before I finish, as my time flies away from me, I do want to mention the rest of the specialization. So as I mentioned, that first course is pretty much finished and will be ready in January. But in many ways, while I'm really excited for people to get to that, I'm almost more excited about the next step in the specialization, which will be looking at applying these methods in the context of clinical reporting. Because we realize that now we have this Pharmaverse, this collection of open source tools out there available, we really want to advertise the fact that you can use these to do clinical reporting. And that's what the rest of the specialization will focus on. It will be courses on how you make use of these open source tools to actually deliver your reporting on a clinical study. That is to be determined as to when it will be released. It will be sometime next year. But Thomas Neitman, who is the Roche lead on Admiral, will be leading in that course as well. So again, look out for that. So yeah, this has been a really brief tour of the Coursera specialization. Again, look out for it in the new year. I will no doubt be posting about it on LinkedIn and lots of other forums when it does go live. Yeah, and I think I've got maybe a moment for additional questions. Thanks very much.